Hello, my name is Nicholas Dibbs. I'm a candidate for GGUSD School Board Area 1. And one of the pleasures of being on the campaign trail and going around and speaking with voters and residents here in West Garden Grove is meeting wonderful people such as Mr. Rick Smith, who's standing next to me. Rick is a longtime resident here in West Garden Grove. He has an amazing story to share with you. And I'd like to start off by saying we have 10 intermediate schools in this school district, and it's very sad that in June of 2016 we lost the last two when the incumbent was on the school board. I won't let that happen, and that's one reason I'm running for school board, is to bring our shop classes back, both at the 10 intermediate schools and at the high schools where we lost our auto shop. So I'm very pleased to introduce Mr. Rick Smith. He's a experienced cabinet maker, and he will share with you his story of how he got involved in cabinetry and how important these shop classes are for our career and technical education programs, and to help students have a living wage job. So Rick, I'm very pleased to have met you, and I'm grateful that you're going to share your story with the people of West Garden Grove.
Not a problem. I've lived here, like he said. I grew up here, where my parents are original owners of this house. Went to Bell Junior High, and we had a industrial education class, basically, that was taught by Mr. Babcock. And in that class, we learned woodworking, sheet metal, spot welding, and electrical. And that kind of got me going on woodworking. And I've been a cabinet maker now for 42 years. Currently, I'm a operations manager running a shop of 45 guys building cabinets to go in Gulfstream aircraft. One of the things that I have, as a recruiter, recruiting employees to come to our shop, is we have a problem with is there's nobody out there that's learning these trades. The high schools and the junior high schools have eliminated shops, and with that, the only places we can recruit from are junior colleges or the trade schools. But the problem with that is a lot of kids in high school and junior high right now are not being exposed to the trades. And not being exposed to them, they're not going to know if they're interested in going to a trade school or going to a junior college. In that way, they're going to have to pay to go to those schools. At least when you're in junior high or in high school, both of those I had shop classes in, I was exposed to the trades, and I learned woodworking, and I've been doing it my whole life. I can't stress enough how important it is. Not every kid that goes to high school is going to go to a four-year college. It's just a fact. And right now, the kids are basically being told that you're not a success if you don't go to a four-year college, and that is wrong. There's a lot of good-paying jobs out there, really good-paying jobs, that we're having a hard time recruiting for. There's just nowhere for them to learn how to do this.
Rick, you've mentioned that there's a shortage of skilled workers and the importance. Now, when you took shop over here at Bell Intermediate School, that's what got you going into the trades, is that correct?
Yes.
And then today you have your grandchildren, I think, or your children or grandchildren, unfortunately, didn't have the same opportunity you had to have the shop classes. Is that correct?
There's no shops. And they never were exposed to it. And the kids that are there, some of their friends I know, they ended up dropping out of college, and they're kind of lost right now because they didn't have the exposure to learn this.
So when you took the shop classes in junior high, was it for 1 year, 2 years? About how many years?
Well, it was for 1 year. We moved away after my 7th grade year. So
and then when you went to high school, did you take any shop classes in high school?
I took, freshman year we had a class that was called industrial education, and you had 4 quarters, 1 quarter of auto shop, electric shop, sheet metal, and print shop. And then I also took wood shop in high school, and I lived in the wood shop basically because I pretty much knew as a sophomore I was going to be a cabinet maker.
And you've done this career for over 42 years, I think you said. And does it pay well?
Extremely well. I'm able to afford a house in West Garden Grove.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's really I was very impressed when I met you the first time yesterday in what you had to say, and I felt that the residents and voters here in West Garden Grove and in throughout GGUSD Area 1 deserve to hear this testimony from people such as yourself of how important these shop classes are. And when they cut the last two wood shops from the last two intermediates that had a shop 4 years ago, what is your take on that?
I think it's really a waste. There's, like I said, there's other things besides a four-year college for kids. And there's a lot of them out there that need to get exposure. And if they get the exposure, then they're going to want to go to the trade school or go to the junior college that has the woodworking programs. But they're not getting that exposure to see if they're even going to like it or not. Mm-hmm. And that's a shame. Well,
I want to thank you very much for taking the time to share your story and from the heart. And you and I share this passion of having our shop classes return to GGUSD schools, particularly at the intermediate level as well as high school. And I want to say when I was in junior high, I had wood shop and metal shop, and even though I went on to get a 4-year degree, I still use those skills today. So thank you, Mr. Rick Smith, and appreciate your time and sharing your story. Thank you. Vote for Nicholas Dibbs November 3rd for positive change. Thank you.